Couch in space!
Oh, look, it's a couch.
Looks comfortable.
And it's in space.
Cool.
Couch in space!
Hi everyone, welcome to Couch in Space. I'm here with Natalie Watene, a very good friend of mine. I worked with Natalie, like all of our other guests, at TVNZ many moons ago. That was many years ago now. Hey, when were you at TVNZ last?
Oh, probably about the same time as you.
So
3 years ago?
3 years ago?
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
that was the time, hey?
That's a while ago now. Yeah.
And Natalie's here to join us, and really happy to have you because Natalie and I used to talk a lot about things, religion, politics, everything
Life.
else, relationships. So there you
Yeah.
go. And now we get to share it with the world. We get to be in space.
Yeah.
I know,
This is
isn't that cool? Yeah. I really like it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big kid at heart. So Natalie, how have you been? How's life as an editor?
Life as an editor is awesome. You know? I spent a lot of years learning from people, including yourself. There's a lot of awesome people that got put in my path. Now I get to, I think, I did a lot of editing at TVNZ, and now I get to freelance in a whole lot of different places, and it's been just a real pleasure working with a whole lot of people. And life as an editor, it's very dark.
Yeah, I know.
We're in the dark rooms all the
Yeah.
time. But, it's also kind of a nice space to be in most of the time when it's working.
Yeah, when it's working, hey. It's a lot of problem solving.
Yeah.
Do you find being an editor it's very mentally intensive, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Especially offlining, cutting
Yeah.
the story. You've got this much footage, you have to condense it into this much of a story. What is your process?
Absolutely. What is my process?
Yeah. How do you make
Well,
sense
first
of
of
all of
all,
this
yeah.
to make it into something that's,
I guess it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle at times, especially when someone's gone and shot footage or on their cameras.
Yeah.
People don't know what footage is. For, I don't know, days and days and days, you have to come in. I don't know, for example, I've been working on Marae DIY all year, and they shoot 4 days straight with 3 main cameras and a whole lot of GoPros and drones and everything. And so I actually spend usually a couple of days just putting it all into a bin, into a folder on our editing software, and just really sorting through it. I label it all, so if I need to find something to do with paint or that back wall or something, it's all there, and I can search for it and find it when I need to.
So you don't have an edit assistant to go through all your footage for you and label it all?
Sometimes we get that luxury. I do have an edit assistant who syncs it up.
Okay.
Who's amazing at doing that. I still have to go through it all. And
How many hours would you be looking at, like for one episode?
So we have 2 weeks to cut an episode, so 2 days to...
How many hours of footage is there?
If
you go shooting 4 days straight, are you looking
it's
at...
about 7 hours a day. I put it all on a timeline.
Yeah.
And so 7 times 4, 28.
Okay.
Well, the last day's not as long, so 25 hours maybe to go
Right.
through to get it down to 45 minutes. Yeah. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But I have help from my director and all of that. So
Do they give you a paper edit, or are you pretty much largely left to it?
Yeah, actually, the directors I've had this year have all cut a rough cut on our editing software as well, and so which has been great.
that's a luxury.
Have they all done that? Yeah. One of them gave me a really pretty paper cut, a paper sort of scripty thing. What do you call it? Paper edit.
Paper edit, yeah.
Which was really nice. But they come in very organised, and then I take it from there and create something really magical.
Oh, really? Oh, it's magical.
So, yeah.
And how important is the soundtrack of that?
Oh, very, very important. I spent a lot of time on music. Actually before we even got into the editing, I had a couple of days just looking for music. That's going to work for it.
Yeah.
In fact, once I get the rough cut from the director, I will often just lay down what I call a soundscape, which is just a music bed, just to make sure it's going to flow and work.
Yes, yeah.
And then you look at doing the pictures after that. Yeah.
I'm very much like you, and that's one of the first things I tell people who are into editing is that the sound is so important, and because most things are pretty much wall-to-wall music these days, there's no escaping it, you know, especially in reality TV format, you know, highs, lows, highs, lows.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the quickest way to do that is through music, you know. This is a drone, this is an upbeat shot, this is a sequence that's meant to be, you know, fun and frolicky, or is it sad and depressing, you know? And you can very easily gauge, not easily, but quickly gauge, do you have the right peaks and troughs, you know, within your storyline, hey?
And knowing when to stop a particular music track and start it, or, you know.
Or even just a
create
grab, you know, when you get a feeling for music, pulse, pulse, pulse. Oh no, now something's happening. Pulse, 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 and then another grab, and then another grab. It's a really good way to space out all your different, the voices and things like that anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just create those moments that are really special. That particular story that you're trying to tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Pummeling that piece of clay into something that's, you know, watchable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you enjoy that?
I enjoy it. I love it when it works. I mean, I've definitely had some challenging things I've worked on. I still love it. I probably learn more from that than the easier stuff. I do love it. The only thing that's really holding me back from wanting to be an editor sort of full time is that just the fact that you're stuck inside a dark room on a computer all day. Everything else about it is great. All the people I work with are awesome, but it's just...
But most jobs are like that though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
most.
look at it. Just as well you're not doing data entry.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably...
You know, imagine going into a big
not
office.
last very long. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, yeah.
It's like, ooh,
Yeah, TV people are a special breed, hey. We like our variety of things.
Yeah.
The good thing is we have a variety of people and a variety of crafts that we sort of engage with. And that's what I've always loved about the industry.
Yeah, I think
is that there's so many different people.
And working with people and talking with people about their creative ideas and implementing them as well. And you know, it's not just about yourself in this industry at all, you know.
It's a service industry, you know, someone's got an idea and you have to, you solve their problem. You know, it's a solution, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got all this footage, give me a solution that makes it into a compelling story.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
It is not always
to do
easy.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And you need lots of experience. Yeah. So, but, you know, 3 years, or was it 2 years ago you got married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
Was
and
it
a
2 years?
Two and a half years ago now.
So tell me the progression between not being married and married. Is it different? Do you feel different?
Oh, not necessarily.
No?
I don't know. I don't know. I always wanted to get married, and I was one of those people that nagged.
Oh, really?
My husband will tell you this.
Okay.
You know, just dropped lots of hints.
Oh, really?
For a long time.
Yeah.
Until one day, my husband Les eventually was like, "Okay, I get it."
You
he didn't really want to get married, but we got married, you know. And it was like, you know, he's said to me ever since, he's like, "It's really nice to be able to call you my wife," you know, and things like that. And so I know it means a lot to him now, but maybe it didn't mean a lot to him then. It meant a lot to me. I mean, you were there shooting it, Dan, and you got some great shots of how much it obviously meant to Les on that day as well.
It did,
it was. We still say it's the best day of our lives, you know.
Oh, fantastic!
To have all our friends and family in one place and just to have a good old time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, coming back to your question, what was it like?
Yeah, just the progression. I mean,
I think, now it's like Les and I have really been on a big journey in the last sort of year or two, and now it's like, I really feel like we're really meant to be together now. I don't know if when we got married it was that obvious, you know.
Is that maybe something even better because you've made that commitment, now you've decided to grow together?
It's all about growth.
So now that you are officially a couple, you're officially almost just following paths. So you support him in you know, his paths, and he supports you in your paths. And sometimes, I know he's a musician, so he's over there, you're an editor, you go over here, but then you come together and you share other different moments and other passions. And tell us about your other passion, what you're currently doing.
You're right. So me being an editor and him being a musician, we thought we'd start a food truck. You know, like it makes sense.
I can see the relationship.
Yeah, it's just, you know. But I guess that whole journey started just over a year ago. Well, first we stopped drinking, which was massive, and no one believed us for about 6 months until people were like, oh, okay, actually,
But you guys were never big drinkers,
Oh,
were you?
really? We'd have big nights, and
Okay.
then that would ruin our whole weekends because we were tired and hungover, and
Wow, okay.
And so,
See, that's a side I
kinda-
didn't know about Natalie. I just
Yeah.
thought she was always very wholesome.
I
So
know.
don't let that face fool you.
yeah, not as
Anyway.
innocent as you thought. Yeah, so we read a book called, it's like by Alan Carr, How to Control Your Drinking, which at the end he goes, are you
It
ready
got
to
to
give...
that point that you thought there's a problem here?
Yeah, well,
Really?
I just didn't want to drink as much as I was drinking. I
Okay.
thought if I could have a couple of drinks a night, I'd be not every night, I'd be happy.
Yeah,
But at the end of the book, we really contemplated it, and actually, my husband was like, "I think we should stop." And I was like, "Okay." Then we were drinking our last bottle of flash wine we got from our honeymoon, and
Yes.
and then that was it. And so about a year and 3 months later, we haven't had any drinks. And it's been again, we've been growing through it. We've been journeying. We went and watched an All Black game in Queenstown about 2 months over that. After that, in Queenstown, full of everybody drinking beer, and we were like, oh, we could just have one beer, and we really had to stop ourselves. We really had to be
wow.
like, and we had friends say, oh, you could just have a couple for my celebration, and we're like, no. We're sticking to this thing, and we're really glad we have, and
How does
it's
that
really made a
impact-
massive difference in our lives. Yeah.
I can just imagine. How did that impact your relationships, of course, with your friends? Because it's like the social norm to drink, and it's
Yeah, I mean, they're still my friends.
that's
but
a
you're
good
right.
thing.
I mean, usually I'd only go out till about, not past midnight now. You know,
Okay.
you kind of get to a point where you're like, I'm definitely the sober person here, and you guys are definitely not. And I love you guys, but you're not going to remember if I go home now.
No,
So,
that's right, yeah.
and I'd rather go home and I mean, I'm lucky because my husband's done it with me. And
Yes.
it's a lot easier when the person that's the closest to you in your life has done it with
Yeah.
you. So, yeah. And then...
So getting back to the food truck.
Then we started food truck. No. So then what happened?
Yeah.
We were at home, not drinking, a couple months later,
Yeah.
and it was middle of winter. It was July here in New Zealand, and we were watching Netflix, and this documentary called What the Health came up, and we were like, oh, we could watch it. We didn't really know what it was about, but it sounded interesting, and so we watched it, and at the end of it, we just kind of turned to each other and went, well, should we just try this whole vegan thing for 2 weeks and see how we
Wow.
go?
Okay.
And so we did. And 2 weeks later, we felt really good. And so we thought, we'll try 2 more weeks. And I guess, a whole month later, we were like vegan without really knowing it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And we felt really good. And we were kind of hooked on this thing because
Yeah.
it was sort of, I guess we were looking for a lifestyle change of some sort. And we tried all the different sort of diets, the low carb and the keto and all those sort of things. Didn't really work for us. And this just kind of, it wasn't as hard as it seemed. And it was easy to say no to cake when it had milk in it because you can't have it,
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just on a
Yeah.
no sugar diet and that cake looks really good, sometimes you might just eat it. So, it's, so
So
I
you
don't
don't
know.
drink, you don't eat cake. Do you guys
We eat
ever
cake.
get invited out to
Oh
anything
yeah,
these days?
we do, and we still have friends. And there's lots of vegan cakes, and actually the top bakery in Auckland 2017 was a vegan bakery in Grey Lynn.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there's some good stuff out there, and you start to realise that. But you also start to realise that there could be some better stuff, and so
Yes.
that's what it has led us to, I guess, starting this food truck.
Yes.
And starting it in a way where it's not, I don't know, there's a lot of sort of vegan stuff out there that's quite healthy, and so we just want to do things that's a bit more familiar with people. And
Yeah, so it's a vegan food
it's a vegan food truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And will you have savoury dishes and sweet dishes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, have I told you the name for it?
No. No, tell me.
It's called Sweet As Bowl.
Sweet as bowl.
Sweet As Bowl, like
Sweet as bowl.
yeah. Like,
Sweet as bowl.
Yeah. Like that.
Okay. So rather than bro,
Yeah,
bowl.
so it's got a bit of a Kiwi spin on it.
Cool.
So my husband's Māori, and his twin sister Bex is also a part of this adventure with us, and so
Oh, brilliant.
and she's a chef of 20 years. So
Right. All you have to do is supply the truck and then...
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then she'll give you a menu
Yeah,
that
I'll
you
make
can...
some cool videos and Liz will make some music and she'll do all the food. No,
Yes,
no, there's a lot of business stuff involved in this.
Wow.
But yeah, she's really excited about it as well. And I guess for her, it's being able to get creative with in a sort of restrictive way, I guess, where you have to use vegan food only has been really exciting. And so.
And have you given her, like, you know, what's worked for you and Les? You know, some of your recipes, obviously, that you came across.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So are you making your own menu? Do you actually have a hand in making the menu?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm the best taste tester.
Oh,
there
okay,
is.
right, okay.
But no, I'm quite critical about things.
Okay.
And so between the three of us, we've come up with a menu that we're going to start with, and it's going to be an ever-changing menu.
Yeah.
But it kind of actually started because Les bought a Weber barbecue.
Okay.
Just before we became vegans, because he was doing slow-cooked meat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're like, well, what do we do? So we started doing slow-cooked kumara and potato and eggplants and things like that, and realised it was quite good. So one of the biggest things we're going to be selling in our food truck is smoked chips, essentially, and smoked kumara fries and things like that. So we're doing a lot of smoked stuff, which has led us to another signature kind of thing that we're going to do, which is a hangi bowl.
Right.
So them being Māori and growing
of
up,
course. So that'll be very popular.
Rawai, which is like the kumara capital of New Zealand. People think it's Dargaville, it's actually Rawai. We thought, well, let's bring some of that. So really, we're doing a bit of a Kiwi spin on vegan food, but we're also it's fusion food. We've got some Thai dishes, we've got some arancini balls and things going on as well. We're going to do a banoffee pie bowl.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which Les actually came up with, but the two of them are perfecting it, and I'm getting pretty hungry now.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Make sure you bring the truck. So when's this truck going to be ready?
Wow. 2 weeks ago, because I've been learning Te Reo Māori, I was on a marae and I came home and Les and Bex had bought a food truck without me knowing. I mean, I knew they weren't thinking about it, but anyway, they were literally backing it into the driveway as I came home.
That's
and I was
amazing.
like, which means, because our plan before that was we had a little retro caravan that we were going to do up, but that would have taken months. So now we've fast-tracked it and we're hoping to launch in November. So
you heard it here first?
Yeah, this is the first time.
This is
I
the
was
big
like,
launch.
do I talk about this today? But so today, sorry, not today.
Yeah.
No. So we're hoping to launch in November. There's a vegan festival in Whangarei, which we're hoping to get into. Because Les and Bex grew up in Whangarei, we hope that they'll kind of be like,
Sure,
hey,
you can get into a vegan festival in Whangarei.
Yeah, I mean, God.
You must be doing something really wrong if you can't get into it. Yeah, exactly.
And just hoping to do a sort of a light start at our house early November, just to get friends and family around to come and try it out.
What an awesome project.
Yeah,
what
it's
a beautiful
fun.
project.
It's fun,
too.
and that's what our life is about right now.
Yeah. Okay. That was actually my question. Why the food truck? You know, what was missing in your life? What does a food truck represent that what you guys weren't getting from music and editing?
I guess it's getting outside. Is a big thing.
Funny. Getting outside.
I know.
It sounds
You
really.
understand.
I do. I totally do.
Yeah.
That's why I got this thing. She forces me to walk the dog twice a day, and I have to get out of the edit suite, stop what I'm doing, and go out into the sun and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
So I totally know what you mean. But okay, getting outside.
Outside. I think, the word adventure comes to mind, and I think this is an adventure in so many ways.
Yes.
I don't know, connecting with people. We've been doing a few events with Tony Robbins. He's an American, great American speaker, motivator dude. It really makes you think about your values, and you sort of put them in order, and you go, hang on a second, is what I'm doing 40 hours a week really what I want to be doing,
Yes.
It might be, with the editing, I still want to do it part-time because I still love it. I just don't know if I want to be doing it all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess, out of the latest seminar we went to with Tony Robbins, we looked at our values, and my top ones were, my first one is health and energy and vitality.
Okay.
Because you can't really have much without that. The second one is love and connection, and my third one's faith.
Okay.
And which I probably do a lot with in the editing.
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah.
of faith involved. But we just want
Probably
to
a different kind, but you pray a lot. I hope this works.
I hope they like it.
Yeah, I hope they like it. Yeah, I hope.
And so I was like, Tony kind of did this exercise where, Tony Robbins, where we had to think about sort of some of our goals and what we wanted to do. And Liz and I were not in the same place in the room. There were 2,000 people there.
Yes.
And and I just had this big thing pop in my head where I was like, I just feel like we should do a food truck. I don't really know why. And
Really?
but and so I went to him and he was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I feel like this is the thing. And about half an hour later, he's like, I think we should do it. And I was like, okay. and so we did. And we didn't think about Bex at the time. And then we came home, because this was in Australia, and we came home and we talked to Bex about it. And she was like, yeah, I'm in. And so it's just kind of cool that all these things are sort of being put in front of us as this whole thing's unfolded.
And do you think that because of your choices before the seminar, obviously your eyes, the eyes, started to open up. At what point did you kind of see and step back? Because usually when you're so busy in life, you don't see those things. You don't ask those kind of questions, like your 3 motivations in life. You do this if you're going through a really rough patch in life and you go, hey, I've got to strip back this, something's not working here. Or you go to a motivational seminar. I'm interested to know what prompted you to ask those kind of questions. At what point did you and Les decide, we don't have to be like everyone else. We're seeing this world and we want to be in it, but we want this world to be different for us than what we're seeing around us. Because I'm sure your friends aren't doing food trucks and, or have a more holistic way of looking at things. Was there a point that you guys, or was it just a natural progression thing? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, no,
I'm not even sure if it is
just
a question.
thinking about what that point could have been.
Yeah,
There's a few sort of moments that happened. Probably so we gave up drinking last year in June. That was a big moment. But before that, it was probably New Year's. Liz and I had a bit of a run-in. We're not the perfect couple. And I sort of said to him...
Heard it here first.
I sort of said to him, we were sitting on some sand dunes on 90 Mile Beach, and I said to him quite straight, I was like, I just can't keep living like this. I don't know what it is, I don't know why, but it just seems like we're just going nowhere.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and we just were like, don't know what to do. But I think because we sort of spoke it out into the world, or, I believe in God and he believes in some sort of divine energy. And I think because we spoke it out, it was like something hurt us. It was like we were like, hey, we need something, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And the next minute we're reading this book, and then we give up drinking, and then we randomly watch this thing on Netflix, and then we become vegans, and then my sister convinces Les to go to Tony Robbins, and I was like, oh, he's not going without me because he sounds a bit strange. Which ended up changing our lives as well. And it's kind of, I don't know, we just started to realise once you sort of, when there's something in life that you're just like, I just don't know.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with speaking it out, or some people pray or whatever it is, and going, hey, I actually need some help with this thing.
Yes.
And
it doesn't
and
matter
then
what
just
divine
letting
energy.
it be and seeing and noticing the things that sort of unfold in front of you, and then taking those opportunities. So I think, Brooke Fraser's got a song, faith without deeds is dead. I mean, it comes from the Bible, but it's kind of like if you can have faith, but you also, if things are presented in front of you and you feel like you're nudged, and sometimes it might not be an easy nudge, and you might be a bit scared about this particular thing, just go for it.
Yes.
Which is kind of like this, like I'm not really very good in front of the camera.
Oh, really?
And it got presented in front of me, and I went, you know what? I actually should just do it.
Yeah. I think just doing it is part of it. And I think if you're a little bit scared, I often see that as a sign, well, this is actually going to be the most rewarding as well. Because always when I'm anxious about something, I'm not really sure, there's something, I'm so out of my comfort zone, but you cross that threshold, and at worst, you learn something totally different that you've never dealt with before. And I think it's amazing. And I like to think that I look at things with, a more open view of things. I mean, we've talked a lot
We've had a
about
lot of
different
talks.
things,
Yeah,
about
I think we
philosophies and
totally
things
do.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And being aware. I think these opportunities are presented to us all the time, whether we acknowledge them or listen to them. Yeah, you could have had in the back of your head, why don't you have a food truck? I could have the same one, same time, but I don't be stupid. I don't want to do a food truck, and and then you dismiss that part. But these little nuggets, and when you start to follow them, and you follow them with conviction and passion, it's amazing. It's a life worth living, isn't it?
It is. And you talked earlier about growth, and it's like when you're put into those moments that are hard,
Yes.
the amount of growth that you get out of it.
I know.
It's actually, it's like going to the gym. It's like you don't want to get up and go to the gym, but afterwards you're going to feel a lot better.
Yeah.
And so,
I think it's more like being in an alley, being beaten to nearly death.
there's
And
that
then you
as
crawl
well.
out and I made it out. I'm still alive. Okay, I'm going to get healthy again and start rebuilding things, But sometimes life gives you a beating, and it does. It can make you go to a point where I give up. I don't know. And you want to scream at it, I don't know. But from that moment, you say, I don't know, I need some help here, and then suddenly, bang, the world opens up. Oh, have you thought about this thing? So it's an interesting experience, isn't it? So
It is.
I'm glad that you shared that with us.
Hopefully it makes sense.
Yeah, no. I think anyone who's ever been in those places, and we're getting back to our society at the moment being riddled with anxiety and fear and all that sort of stuff, and mental health issues. And a lot of those mental health issues is you're trying to bury something. You're not honest with yourself. You know it feels wrong, but you keep doing it. You're not learning from it. And I think that's what anxiety is, that you're doing the same thing, you know it's wrong, but you're not willing to change it or even acknowledge it. So you start to lubricate?
Yeah. Just push it inside.
Yeah,
don't you?
push it inside. You say drink more, you take tablets to numb the senses. And, I've been in pretty dark places. Dark, well, actually, it's not that dark, but it's an internal thing,
Well,
where
everybody
you
has,
think you
yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do now. I don't know. I've gone all these different ways and I'm trapped in all these different places. Where do I go from here, And it's those moments that you find something. It doesn't happen straight away. Usually it's a few weeks afterwards, after you've kind of come out of that. So I'm really glad that people are experiencing the same thing, with you, Liz. And isn't it funny that I guess I still consider us more like a younger generation. We're the ones asking or saying, however this is working, it's not working.
No.
There are better ways to do it.
Yeah.
How can I use my place in society to better myself and others? And I guess what the food truck is so good, I mean, you come from a background of teaching as well, so you know about giving back.
Yeah.
And I know Les teaches music. He gives back to society. But it's not enough. There's something missing. Everyone needs a food truck.
Oh,
It's a competition.
what's your food truck?
Yeah, what's your food truck?
You're right, and I think it's about aligning yourself with
Yeah.
whatever it is that you feel like you're called to do at the particular time. And there's different seasons in life, It's like when we get sick of this food truck, we're going to move on to something else. Or,
Yeah, nothing's forever, is it?
I mean, who knows where this food truck journey could take us? It might totally go nowhere, or it might go somewhere huge. I mean, we don't know, but at the back of it all is basically this desire to want to help people and just help people just to feel a bit healthier, or just eat more veggies, or we're not saying go vegan, we're not doing that, but we're just like, hey, just try this thing out, and when you're at an event and there's hot dogs and there's chips and there's us, hopefully you'll choose us because you're going to feel better for it. Who
are you going to go to? This couple smiling, grinning at you with all this healthy food, or some guy just making hot dogs who looks like he's hungover? It's different, isn't it?
And that's what it's about. And and I can't wait to have those conversations. And anyone that can speak to Te Reo, come up and try and have a conversation with me. I'll try and have a conversation with you. You know, it's about all those sort of things that we're working towards in this country right now.
And you also have a deep love of Te Reo as well.
Yeah, I do.
So you're going to have a Te Reo menu and an English menu?
I'll have to get some friends on board, but we're going to have a way that you can order your food in Te Reo.
Okay.
That can work for everybody. And we'll just, there's a lot of Kiwiana with our food truck and things like that. Anyway, I'll keep talking about the food truck if we don't stop with that.
No, that's okay. No, but it's come from somewhere, and it's so nice to hear that you found something. This is a project. I mean, like what this is. This is a project.
Yeah, this is
it's
awesome.
It's not going to be forever, but it's my way of being able to connect with people for 20 minutes uninterrupted without having to go somewhere or anything like this. It's a really good excuse, and I think that connection with people, I think that's why I like podcasts so much.
I love podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan kind of podcasts.
I haven't listened to
Haven't
Joe?
you?
No.
So he's got a very philosophical approach as well. So he talks about things like that. How does the world fit together? What makes you tick? What within this world, there's so many different facets, so many different ways of looking at things. Nothing is black and white. It's like, what's your motivation? What's my motivation? What's your understanding? How do I understand your understanding? And vice versa, It's more questions than answers. And I think I'm kind of like what space is.
Oh,
Actually, I want to ask you this.
Mystery.
Yeah, it's a big mystery. I want to ask you, I had a guest here, Will Fleming, and really nice guy, and I'm going to have him back too because, again, we go on these tangents of philosophical talk. And he said to me, and he asked me a question. He said, Dan, an alien is coming down, from space, and he's asking you, what connects all of humanity? And I want to ask you the same question. What do you think connects all of us? What is something that ties us all together? What's a similar experience for all of humanity?
The first thing that came to mind was love. And I just think if we can just love everybody unconditionally, doesn't matter,
But if you had to give him a snapshot or them,
what connects us all?
At the moment,
I think there's
love is definitely partly
an energy that is connected between us all.
What's it like to be a human?
What is it like to be a human? For me, it's awesome. It's a bit of a mystery. It's full of love and connection. There's times for everything. All the good and what people perceive to be bad, but usually the bad helps you grow. So it's kind of all good stuff. There's definitely some bad things in the world. I don't know. This is a very big question.
What is it, good or bad?
It's full of depth. I think to be joyful, and to
What's
just
the
appreciate
motivation?
and be grateful in all the things that happen.
But why do you need to be joyful?
Because your mind has so much crap in it that if you're not sort of, sometimes your mind just goes around in those circles. I mean, that's a whole nother, we should talk about that another time.
The monkey mind, we're going to hold
the monkey mind.
The monkey mind, yes.
But, if you can focus, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Something I learned from Tony Robbins. And if you can focus on those things that are going to bring you joy or bring, you might be going through a really rough patch, but if you can just see that little glimmer of whatever is going on, that's going to change that whole experience for you. And
it does, yeah.
I don't know if that answers that question.
No, it kind of does. It's really interesting to get your perspective on it. And it's a very positive one too. When I answered the question, I said suffering. Yeah. Because everyone gets to be on this earth, they get born, and the first thing you do is hunger. That's your first sign of suffering, isn't it? So you need someone to feed you. And then there's cold. And then as you grow older, there's emotional, do I fit in, don't I? There's anxieties and things like that. However, if that's your basis, from that on, you can then choose, okay, can I rise above the suffering and find things like joy? Which comes out of a lot of that. It's not the whole yin-yang thing, isn't it, really? It
is, yeah.
Anyway, that's the way I
understand it. It's great. And I think also through the suffering, there's always growth.
Yes.
And there's always a connection with others. If you're hungry and you're a child, someone's going to feed you. You have to have that connection with others for things to move forward. And
yes.
Yeah, I think that hunger to move forward and grow as a society and forever evolved, you know. Yeah. I don't know where that was going. I've been listening to a lot of
We're
other
in deep
stuff
space now. We're nearly hit the edge of space.
on podcasts at the moment. And,
What have you been smoking, Natalie?
there's this guy called Rob Bell. He's
Yeah.
an ex-pastor in the
Yeah.
States, and he's got the Robcast, and he's really...
The Robcast.
He talks about how to really read the Bible.
Okay.
And it's very interesting. And so that's been something I've been on. And another lady I've really been into is Elizabeth Gilbert. And so she did Eat, Pray, Love. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And then she's got another book called Big Magic.
Okay.
And it's all about, those opportunities. And it's like, you start something and then this other thing happens and you're like, wow. It's just, life is just full of big magic. Yeah.
I think what you said earlier about energy, I think
Yeah.
life is an energy. I think a purpose is an energy. And it depends on what you focus your energies on is what kind of comes to you. You know, if
Absolutely.
you focus on positive things,
Yeah.
focus on negative things. Having said that though, money is an energy. And this is an energy only a few people really understand. Banks understand money energy. Now, if you think about it,
Yeah.
banks get a lot of money. They get a lot of money in and they put a lot of money out. You know, it's a cycle thing. Like if you were to hoard your money, you're stagnating the growth. Or this is kind of what I'm playing with at the moment. This is my understanding. And I know a lot of people have financial issues and things like that. And, when they get a little windfall coming in, they don't really know what to do with it. So it stagnates.
Yeah.
But the idea is it's a flow, and the more you let in, the more you kind of have to push through out as well.
Yeah.
But not just give it away, it has to have a purpose. So anyway, that's just my
I think you're
my
totally
light and
right.
fluffy
And I think that
thought.
the goal is not like a golden house on top of a hill somewhere. The goal
No.
is something bigger than that, and you're right, that money should be forever changing hands so that people can keep adding value to
So
their
you
parts of their
obviously-
lives and everyone else's life.
Yeah. I mean, you're using your money that you've created to put into a food truck. This is what's an emotional thing, it's a monetary thing. It's all kind of connected, isn't it?
It's a bit of the bank's money as well.
A bit of the bank's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're good at adding value to
That's right.
society. Yeah.
Yeah, got to be careful there, the bank's money.
Yeah, no, I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm touching my mic. Oof. I'm very cautious with things, and but my husband's sometimes and it's awesome, like a big kid sometimes, and I love it, and sometimes I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. We make a good team.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
Yin and yang,
Yeah. exactly.
Ah, that's awesome.
So many things.
I know. God, we've been chatting for quite a while. Anyway, so just getting back to Tony Robbins' thing, and this is what fascinates me. The whole experience of, when you get ideas and you go to these seminars and you get inspired. I mean, you see the documentaries on it and there's a room full of thousands of people bouncing up and down to some rock music and you go, okay.
Have you
everyone's-
watched his Netflix one?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
And I find it fascinating. But what I am really curious about, you've got this, it's kind of like a really impersonal staging system of lots of people, loud music, people screaming at you, and then also, listening different things. But yet you walk out of it with a truly profound personal experience, And obviously, when they do these seminars, they've cracked that code. They give you a platform, one, to be inspired and to follow the masses, but also then to take that energy and focus it towards, yourself, kind of thing. How does that work? Is that is that too deep? I mean, you've gone to the experience, so you're in the room with everyone else,
Yeah.
and is it pure motivation? Like they motivate you to such an extent that you think, what can I do? Do they ask the right questions? Or do you hear testimonials of other people that are there and you get inspired by them? Like, what was it for you?
So I've been to 3 of Tony Robbins' events at this stage, but I'm just trying to think back to the first one in Sydney. It's called his Unleash the Power Within event. What was it? Tony... Yeah, he's got some real science around what he does as well, and so it's sort of practical psychology, I guess.
Okay, right.
So he talks about these things called the 6 human needs, and often people are focusing on a couple of those particular needs. I won't go into it in depth that aren't really that beneficial for life. So he talks about, if you just sort of focus a little bit, you wouldn't let go of those ones, but a little bit more on the other ones, just for the yin and yang, then what would your life look like? And so you're like, okay, well, for instance, I focus a lot on certainty.
Yes.
So which is why when I was teaching, I was like, cool, I've got a full-time job, it's locked in, it's easy. Came to the film industry, TV industry, that's unheard of.
There's no certainty there.
So learning that uncertainty or variety in your life is just as important.
Okay. Right.
It's kind of that balance. And so then going, well, because I've learned how to do that in this industry, now I can take that to another industry, like a food industry, and see how that works for me. And it's, I don't know if that's answering your question.
No, I think you're getting towards...
There's a lot of practical stuff that he talks about. And he also, he delved right back into your childhood. Like we did this exercise where Tony takes you right back to like your earliest memory. And then he goes, but what was the memory before that? And you're like, oh, there's another memory. And it was crazy. I went back to like when I was like a year old, and it was like...
Really?
And I was getting passed around. I think it was my first birthday of my family, and getting dragged along in a Lion Red box on the deck and things like this. And it just kind of... There's all this... You sort of tap into all these memories that you don't even know are there that have affected your life. Like I remember when I was about 3 years old, my dad was jumping on the tramp with me, and I loved it. Yeah. And then he's bounced me really high, and ever since then I've been afraid of heights. And I didn't realise that was the moment. It's nothing to do with my dad. I mean, we were having a great time. Yeah. Poor old dad. It's not your fault, Dad. But and there's all these moments that are in your life from your childhood that you probably don't realise are affecting your life now, that sort of these fears that you have now. And so trying to break some of those, or, I mean, I'm yet to do a skydive or anything crazy like that, but I think not letting anything hold you back that you realise are actually things that aren't actually real, like that. Yeah,
that's where fear comes in, isn't it? I mean, fear is kind of, it's irrational to a certain point, because fear just represents this way of looking at it. You can look at any event and be fearful of it, or just accept it as it is. But I think, so that's the main thing. It's going back to the past and almost understanding where you're coming from in order to then... then we did some... Oh, God, it was like... The last one was 6 full days. It's called his Date with Destiny event. It's the same as the one on Netflix. Yeah. And... God, we did a whole lot of stuff around what our purpose in life is. Right. We have this thing called the primary question that we ask ourselves, and I had this, and everyone's got one. You've got a question that you ask yourself every day, probably about 5 times a day. And for me, my old question was, how can I impress others? And you knowing me, you probably looking back going, oh yeah, I probably was always trying to do that. You're a people pleaser. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. How can I impress others? And that's not a very good question to walk around with. So Tony goes into all these things, and he's like, well, let's change it. Why not change it? This is not who you are. Yeah. Who are you? What do you want to be? And so now I've changed it to, how can I love and appreciate this God-given moment? So whenever that other question comes up, I'm like, no, it's this one now. Yeah. So take that. Get out of here, kind of thing. So just really kind of awesome practical things. The purpose in life is awesome. So
rewriting your story, basically, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, and some people would think, oh, that's a bit scary because then it's not you. But then it's actually tapping into who you were actually probably born to be in the first place, and getting rid of those things that have sort of happened to you along the way that aren't really anything to do with you. Yeah. And trying to live your life as you were called to be, if that makes sense. Yeah. Not really.
Yeah, I don't know. No, it does. No.
Yeah.
Calling, I don't know. It's an odd word.
Calling,
A calling can be anything.
I have a bit of a church background. So.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a calling. Everyone that's on earth has a calling, because you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's fundamentally, that's the bottom line.
And if you can be happy with just the fact that you're here, nothing else matters.
It doesn't.
Just be grateful that you're here.
And know that you're going to leave one day.
Yeah. You don't have to have this crazy purpose where you're going to be, I don't know, Oprah. Working with people all over the world, it's...
Actually, that's an interesting point, and this is something I mulled over a couple of days ago. don't be an Oprah. There's already an Oprah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be a Steven Spielberg. There's already a Steven Spielberg. Be yourself.
Be a
Find what you
Daniel.
like. Yeah, be a Daniel. Oh, but am I worthy, Natalie?
Yeah.
What was that question
Am I
again?
good
Am I
enough?
worthy?
Yeah.
Am I good enough?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Yeah, we all have that little voice in our head that's
We do.
very judgmental, and our harshest critic is this
Yeah.
monkey mind. Actually, I want to share this little exercise with you, and I want you to
Sure.
try it and
All
see
right.
if it helps
Ooh.
you. It's quite interesting. When you identify with yourself
Mm.
and you're thinking about things, we tend to think of, we go back into our minds.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're using the mind to think about things. So what if you change that, and when you think about them, imagine your brain is in your heart. All of a sudden, all this weight shifts down here. Now, your heart is the most powerful muscle. It is the life force of who you are and who your body is.
I agree.
So all of
Yeah.
a sudden, if you want to get a fresh perspective on anything, what would your heart say? Rather than thinking, what would your mind say? Your mind would say, you're stupid, you're not good enough, everyone else is better than you, they're richer, blah, blah, blah. The mind always wants to put you in a place that, usually in a negative space. But your heart is more like your being. It's more like the center, and go, actually, it's okay. All of a sudden, you get a sense of calm and peace.
That's true.
Does that work for you? Does that?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
And yep, we've done a few things like that
Have
as
you?
well.
Okay,
where it's
right.
like we need to make a decision about something and you're like, I'm not really sure what it is. And you just sit there for a couple of minutes, hold your heart,
Yeah.
not the mic, the heart, and just really tune into your heart and go, well, I'm going to make this decision from here.
Yeah.
And your heart knows. Your heart will tell you things like that.
Straight away.
Yeah.
No second guessing.
Yeah.
Like it's a yes or no most of the time.
Most of the time.
Does it feel right? No, then forget it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
as easy as that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like such a big decision anymore. It's just, oh, okay, well, that's all it wants, and let's
And you
move
deal
on.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Well, it's been
Yeah.
fascinating, Natalie. I know we
Yeah.
can rattle on for another 40 minutes
go
or
for a
so.
hot-
I think it's
yes.
been a while.
Yeah.
Let's go for a cup of coffee. Hey, thank you for tuning in
Yeah.
for this episode of Couch in Space, and see you next time. Bye.
Couch in Space!